Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome to a new EU Disinfo Labs webinar. My name is Raquel Miguel. I'm a senior researcher at EU Disinfo Lab. And since this is the first session of 2026, let me take the opportunity to wish you a happy new year on behalf of the whole team. We are sending our very best wishes to the counter-disinformation community and hoping for a healthier information environment. After the holiday break, we are back and excited to kick off the year with a fantastic session titled Pop Fascism, Memes, Music, and the Digital Revival of Historical Extremism. The session is both timely and diverse in scope because it brings together several interconnected issues: disinformation, conspiracy narratives, propaganda, historical revisionism, and the normalization of extremist and fascist ideas online, especially in Italy and Spain. We are very happy to welcome two guest speakers who have co-authored this investigation, published by Maldita and Facta, García and Francesca Capoccia. Thank you both for accepting our invitation. We are really glad to have you both with us today. But before I hand over the floor, a quick reminder that EU Disinfo Lab is a non-profit organization that gathers knowledge and expertise on disinformation in Europe and supports the wider community. We host these webinars to give visibility to the work being done across the field, to share insights, and to foster dialogue. And on that note, let me briefly announce a publication we launched today. One we are really proud of because it's the result of close cooperation with many excellent partners. The report looks at a new approach to build a common operational picture of FIMI, supporting a stronger technical attribution and more effective responses. I invite you to take a look, but of course, after we wrap up this webinar. And coming back to today's session, I remind our audience that it's being recorded and the replay will be available on YouTube channel very, very soon. And a couple of quick practical notes more, especially for those of you joining us for the first time. First, you can turn on live captions and even get AI-powered subtitles in your language. To do that, go to the caption section at the bottom left of your Zoom window, click the tab, enable the translation option, and select your language. And second, and very important for the Q&A, we will be using Slido, not the chat on Zoom. To join the conversation, open Slido on your phone by scanning the QR code on the screen, or go to slido.com in your web browser, and when prompted, enter the hashtag disinfo. Let's briefly practice how to use this tool by answering two questions. And please tell us where you are joining us from today and which sector you represent. Quick reminder for the latecomers, slido.com hashtag disinfo. Okay, Brussels, Portugal, Italy, Rome, London, a good representation from Europe today. Berlin, Germany, of course, a big proportion from Brussels, Helsinki, hello, Finland. Canada, the other side of the Atlantic. That's fantastic. Amsterdam as well. Singapore. We have also people joining from Asia. Oh, that's great. That's all the continents, almost all the continents are covered. Maybe we can jump into the next one. Please let us know which sector you represent. Okay, for now, most people coming from civil society, NGOs, academia as well, and media, other sectors. Okay, that's fantastic. Many sectors covered as well. And yeah, good to know. Thank you so much for your patience. And now we are good to go. As already mentioned, we have two speakers today. Coral García Dorado is an investigative journalist and the coordinator of disinformation investigations at Maldita.es. Previously, she coordinated the creation of the European Fact-Checking Standards Network, and she has also worked across Maldita's fact-checking and investigative teams. She holds a master's in investigative journalism, data and visualization, as well as another one in international journalism. And Francesca Capoccia is a journalist who works on fact-checking and debunking at Facta. She writes about sports with a focus on human rights across different publications as well. She also published a book which finds draws between women, culture, and the information environment. And previously, she served as editor-in-chief of the web magazine The Bottom Up. And as I mentioned earlier, they will present an investigation that brings many different elements together. It's a complex topic with a lot of things to unpack. But let me highlight one aspect that in my view is especially concerning, that is the way humor and pop culture references are being used to circumvent content moderation and also to make extremist ideas feel more digestible and appealing, especially for younger audiences, and in the long term to expand and normalize anti-democratic narratives. I am very happy to hand over the floor so you can elaborate on the powerful term you coined to explain this phenomenon that is pop fascism. Over to you, starting with Francesca, I think.
Hi, thank you, Raquel, and hello, everyone. So I will share my screen so we can start the presentation. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so today we are here because me and my colleague Coral, we want to present the investigation that Maldita and Facta published together last October. This investigation is called Pop Fascism, and basically is about how Nazis and fascists are now spreading pop content and misleading narratives about the dictatorship online. Basically, today we will see together why we started these investigations, and also we will focus about the methodology that we used to do our work, and then we will go through the phase of our work, which is like the data collection and also the analysis of this data, and then I will give the floor to my colleague Coral, and she will explain you our result and the findings that we did. So first question: why did we start this investigation? Basically, Maldita and Facta are from Spain and Italy, and they are two countries that in the past were under the regime. So in Italy, we had Benito Mussolini, and Spain was under Franco. And even if this dictatorship actually collapsed more than 50 years ago, and we can still find online some content, a lot of content actually, sometimes pop content that try to enhance these dictators, and we can also find some misleading narratives and false information about these two regimes, about also about Nazism in Germany. In order to do our investigation, of course, we had some questions, and as you can see here, first thing we started to ask ourselves the type of content that was spreading online. So which kind of content it was, and also like how it was spreading, like if maybe there were some tactics, some strategies that were used in order to spread it online, and also we started to one of our questions was the actors. So like who is actually spreading this fascist content, and in which platform this content is spread. And then also we try to analyze and investigate if maybe those actors were somehow coordinated, both in each country, so both, for example, in Italy and in Spain, but also like if there was some kind of connection between Spain and Italy. And we also try to analyze if the content spread in Spain and Italy had some kind of similarities. So as I said before, we published the investigation in October, last October, but our work and our research, of course, came from months before. So we started in May, and from May to October, we actually had a meeting every 2 weeks. And the first thing that we did was to find a common methodology. So then we went on with the research phase. So we started to scrape the website and the social media in order to find these contents. And then, of course, like we analyzed this content, and then we put them in order to have the results. So to find our findings. And then, of course, we even did some interview with the expert to give also more value to our investigation. So about the methodology, I think that it's like a very important part, because the investigation was led by two different newspaper, but of course it was a common work. So we wanted to actually conduct the investigation in the same way. So we started to ask ourselves, for example, which actors we wanted to include in our investigation. And we decided that we didn't want to cover the content spread, for example, by politician or by mainstream media. And then we also tried to understand, for example, the kind of content that we wanted to analyze, and also the platform that we wanted to consider. So at the end, we actually do our research in 6 different platforms and social media, which are Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. And we also decided that the content that we wanted to investigate had to be about Franco, Mussolini, and of course Adolf Hitler. And so it has to be about them, of course, about them like in a positive way. So they had to like glorify them, and also but also it was just about even their policies, about their belief. So it was also about content they was trying to glorify in general fascism and Nazism and Francoism. And so after that, we after what we decided, we started the research and the data collection. We encountered more than 500 content between Spain and Italy, and after, and we needed some practical way to collect our data. So like we were searching on the internet, but we needed to put this content in a table. So we created a spreadsheet. As you can see here, the spreadsheet is very ordinated, and like you can see that for every content that we found, we needed some practical information. So for example, we wanted to know who actually spread the content. So like who was it, the user online, and of course like in which platform this content was spreading, when, and also in which language. Of course, it was about Spanish and Italian, of course, but we sometimes we even notice some English content. And then like we needed to know even, for example, who this content was about. So for example, if it was about Hitler, Mussolini, and but also important thing. This like the type of content that we were analyzed, and also if AI was involved or not, but also like the strategy. About the strategy, this means like that basically we wanted to understand how this content, this fascist content that we were analyzing was in some way pop. So like if like how this content has a new aesthetic to the fascist propaganda. So, for example, maybe we are talking about meme. So, in this case, if we are talking about meme, the strategy is humor. Or, for example, maybe this new pop content can be about like a pop song, so it's more about music, or maybe a song from the past that were altered and modified to sound more pop. And also, or maybe for example AI was involved, so this is also like a new strategy. And then like of course, as you can see here, we wanted to understand even like if the user, if the spreader that actually was sharing this content was just about let's say a normal spreader, so just a casual users, or maybe it was like a person, a user that was actually spreading this kind of content very frequently. And after this phase of research, to do that we had like of course it took us some months, and sometimes this was not very easy because it's not so easy to find this kind of content online just with words, but of course sometimes you have to like think like a fascist. So for example, you can use like keywords or maybe code words in order to find this content. And for example, there are even some nicknames to refer to Mussolini, to Hitler, to Franco. So we actually even had to understand how to actually do the research. It was just not about going around and I don't know, just type, for example, Hitler or Mussolini. We had to like enter in the mindset. And so after this month, after we thought that we had enough content to base our research on, we started to analyze it. So basically we had all these 500 content, and we had to put it in order. So we tried to divide in some section. And for example, we divided like the content in maybe like actors. So we selected like the main actors that we noticed are spreading this kind of content. And for example, but then we also like divided the content about the format. So we had this like audio section, we had the video section, and then after that we after the analysis, as I said before, we did some interviews, and then we wrote the articles. And for the findings, I will give the floor to my colleague Coral. So here's to you, Coral.
Thank you very much, Francesca. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much to EU Disinfolab for the invitation, and thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Let me share my screen, and I will continue the presentation. So here we are. So I will go through the investigation itself, how and the findings, and going through all the strategies that we found. So let's gonna go first of all. Let me now. So, well, first of all, let me explain you briefly what is pop fascism for us, which is we describe it as memes, fascist speeches, military marches. So the investigation explores how, through the use of contemporary elements, like Francesca mentioned before, humor and memes and all the elements of social media, the fascist discourse managed to enter in our daily lives in three phases. The first one is normalization of this content, acceptance as the second one, and the third one, idolization. We will see these three strategies. I would like to mention the use of disinformation as a vehicle to to spread all of this content. So one of the strategies we have seen more, and we tag in the database that you saw before, is music and videos, in videos of TikTok. So here is a video. I'm gonna play it very quick, but this is one of the videos of Aitana. She's a very well-known Spanish singer. And this is a real video of her singing, but it's manipulated with a, I'm gonna stop it, otherwise I can hear, oh, I don't know, sorry, what I don't know. Okay, so she played this video, she's singing the Cara Sol, the fascist song that it was writing in 1935 and became the Franco's regime anthem in 1937. So she's singing is a manipulated video of her singing this song. This is not the only one. We have found other Spanish singers such as Quevedo or another international one who is David Guetta as well. So they are videos of them in TikTok with the manipulated audio. Here is not, this is another thing that we found in common with Italy, as you can see. There it was like typical seeing on social media the pop song of Adele, the British singer, Someone Like You, with Mussolini in the Piazza Venezia, but also another songs like a very famous song in Italy, which is Mine, of the artist Fascist, also very well known there. Let me. This is another one I want to mention. So it's another AI, it's a AI generated video that we found on TikTok, and it was also very viral in Italy with Italian songs, but in the end it's the same strategy. Memes is another strategy we have found very in many times when doing the research and with the data in the database. So we can find memes that the one is supposed to be Pepe the Frogs becoming Francisco Franco. Pepe the Frogs is a anthropomorphic frog that became one of the far-right symbols in the United States long time ago. And it's the use, we can see how pretending to be a humor content, they spread this kind of fascist discourse. Here there is another one on the right, which is another supposed to be memes, but in the end they are spreading this discourse. So the thing with this kind of content is that they can reach a very young or younger audience that they maybe not necessarily know how the history was, especially in or some part of the history. I mean, maybe they know, of course, who was Mussolini or who was Franco, but they don't know how the dictatorship was. So memes really are become a very crucial weapon in disinformation and manipulation campaigns that we would like to resort here, due to they have an ability to go viral easily, even among highly educated audiences, according to the experts that we interviewed for the investigations. And this expert interview assessed that memes can reach younger groups and convince them of the revisionist of historical narratives that we will see later. Such as, for example, that during Benito Mussolini's dictatorship in Italy, the rail services were punctual. This is one of the narratives more that we have seen more during the investigation. Football players are also have very common findings because of some of the football players playing now. For example, in the Real Madrid, we had recently came in this Argentinian football player, Franco, who came to play to Real Madrid last summer. So even before he started playing in Real Madrid, social media such as TikTok in this case was full of content saying, I can imagine when he's playing in Real Madrid, we can say Viva Franco in Spain again, no? So they kind of go through the acceptance and the idolization of the past dictatorships. And here on the left, we have the great-grandson of Mussolini. His name is Romano Benito Floriano Mussolini, and he's also a football player. And they use, again, his name because he has the name of Floriano Mussolini as well. So they use his name in order to again spread this kind of songs or say phrases about Mussolini. So they are as well two similar disinformation strategy in both countries. Here I come with speeches. They use it a lot as well. So they can be, for example, TikTok videos with the speech, the audio speech behind. We have seen it a lot with José Antonio Primo de Rivera. He was the founder of the Spanish Falange, but also with other politics like Brad Piñar. He's not maybe more, he's less famous than Jose Antonio, but they have a lot of speeches of them, but also Franco speeches and everything. And here is the speech, and it goes accompanies of disinformation narratives with some supposedly enhancements of narratives. For example, we will see later we will talk about it, but they are kind of with Franco, we live much better, and then the speech behind in the video. I would like to mention as well the Franco Fridays and Fascist Saturdays. This is something that it was very surprisingly for us because we didn't have any idea that this existed, but it is. There is you might know profile in X called Jack Posobiec. He's he has spread conspiracy theories such as the Pizzagate. He's from the United States, and he spread this. He was one of the main, and he is one of the main spreaders of the Franco Fridays. He started posting these kind of videos. He has a song dedicated to Franco as well, and AI videos like this one that we have on the left. Basically, he started in 2023 celebrating the Franco Friday, again, one day to the idolization of dictators. And every Friday, they publish content on X, supposedly to be the day of Franco, dedicated to Franco, to talk about Franco. And we have also one memes there that you can see on the right. But it doesn't happen only with Franco. They have the Fascist Saturday implemented by Mussolini in 1935. So they also take advantage of this, that this existed in 1935 to spread this kind of content, as you can see on social media as well. And then all of these strategies is a vehicle to spread this kind of disinformation narratives that we have seen during the investigation. So we have the same narrative against similarities between Italy and Spain. We live better under Franco. When Mussolini was around, things were better. These two very similar narratives spreading all the time in social media in Italy and Spain. So this is like a big narrative with a lot of disinformation content spread. For example, here we have the example that Franco created the social security system, that created the paid holidays or the Sunday race. There are a lot you can see in the image is in Spanish. You can see there a list of a lot of things that supposedly he did, but this has been fact checked, of course, and it doesn't happen. But again, they repeat it again and again, trying to make it that true for, especially for younger audiences that know they didn't maybe study a lot of the Franco's regime, especially in Spain. So the thing is that they can, in the end, start believing that this is true because they are mixed with a lot of things that they have a part of truth. For example, maybe Franco introduced, because Franco introduced some laws, but after it was implemented of just some but he didn't implement it at all. So it's what they want us to believe. So, and we will go through again different strategies used to spread these narratives that we talked before. So, for example, the nostalgia and this contextualized content are becoming vehicles to spread the narratives that we have seen before. Here we have two photos that we have seen during the research. For example, this one is supposedly to be Spain in the 1969, still with the Franco regime when it was the regime, and they are comparing pictures supposedly to be the present 2023. They spread anti-migrants narratives and content and trying to make people believe that life was much better before, when they supposed to be Sweden girls coming to the beach in Spain in the Franco's regime. They don't say how the Spanish women was during the 1619, or how the context was in Spain. They just put the photos, spread these messages, and it's a strategy that we have seen many times. You can see another image on the right, very similar, with a text, and then again with anti-migration messages. This is another strategy I want to mention. They are spontaneous, alleged spontaneous interviews. So you can see the video. They are people from more than 60, let's say 70 years. So they live under the Franco's regime, but in the last part of the Franco regimes, because the regime lasted 40 years. So this is something that, and the regime wasn't the same during the 40 years. They live like the, let's say, best times of the regimes when Franco was about to die, and the transition was about to start. So the transitions to democracy. So the thing is that they walk on the street, the interviewers stop them, and you can see that everyone stop and say, "Oh yes, with Franco we live much better. Things were much better." So this is the strategy that they use to make us think that everyone who lived under Franco's regime live much better by then than now in the current times with a full democracy. Here we have another narrative similar in Italy, that you can see Mussolini established the tredicesima. Sorry, Francesca, I don't pronounce it well, which is a bonus that the employees receive in the 13 months by the end, by Christmas, let's say, like the bonus for Christmas. The thing is that, yeah, of course, yes, Mussolini implemented this, but only by a small sector, only by the a small sector of the population. It didn't became for everyone until the end, until that the fascism failed. So they try to manipulate the messages, taking some part of the story that might be true, a little bit, but not the total one. So they try to make us think that things were better under the dictatorships. The same happens with Nazism in Germany, with Hitler. They try to make us think that the genocide never existed, or trying to reduce the victims of the Holocaust, and to make us think, so that try to then denialize these facts. We can see this content in many social media, but especially in Telegram, where you can see the content on the right. So I'm gonna go through actors, as Francesca mentioned before. We decided to register as well the actors in order to understand who is spreading this kind of content in both countries. So what we have detected is that there is a cross-platform strategies, so we can see different content in different platforms. Almost they take advantage of the particularities of each platforms. For example, in Telegram is where we find a lot, because of the lack of control of denialism of and glorification of dictatorship. They share a lot of content, and very extreme content of Nazism, and it's full of groups sharing this kind of content. In platforms like X, we can find a lot of content related to Franco Fridays, for example. It's very, very typical seeing it there, or a lot of memes, or yeah, fascist Saturdays. And in TikTok, we find, because of the videos characteristic, we find audios of and speeches. So audios like Cara Sol, the one we saw at the very beginning with Aitana, but also anthem or speeches by Primo de Rivera, among others. If we talk about actors, they are coordinated. We can see like there is a lot of coordination. They kind of coordinate in terms of, because they share what they consider they want to share from other profiles, but there is not like a clear coordination among them to spread this content. So they are more individual actors trying to spread this content and sharing what others shares, but more fragmented than coordinated. So I'm gonna go to the hidden language, which is another of the strategies used, and we dedicated one of the articles to the hidden language, which was something surprisingly for us as well. So they try to employ words or emojis or numbers, alphanumeric codes, in order to spread this kind of content and to avoid platform regulation. So this is something that we have seen. For example, here is an example of how they try to promote talk about Mussolini without mentioning Mussolini. So they say Marcelone because of the big joke that he used to have. Also, the Roman salute, they have emojis for that, or to talk about the white supremacist slogan about protecting white children. So there are a lot, many. You can see them in our investigation. And we talked with the UNESCO, who had a guide on the hidden and coded language, especially focused on the Holocaust. But you can see that most of them are easy to find, and they are very similar when talking about fascism in general. So here are some of the strategies they employ. Dog whistles, so it's coded phrases, metaphors, or internal terms. So people who speak this language understand each other. So maybe you see this content, you don't know what they are talking about, but they will know it, of course. Then spelling obfuscation, well, deliberate misspelling, posting when post that includes links to marginal platforms as well is another strategy, not very common, but it's another one. Sometimes to spread a more extremist content. And then they mix sometimes different kind of strategies of they reframe. So different kind of strategies. So what happens with this content? It complicates, again, content moderation processes. But there is also that the experts told us, and we would like to mention, sometimes they use some kind of local or for example, here's the blue division. So it's the Spaniards who fought alongside Hitler during the World War, the Second World War. So some of the moderation might don't know who they are. So then you can see this kind of content, so spread it through TikTok or other platforms because, according to experts, they try to use maybe historical moments or symbols that not necessarily are very well known in order to spread this kind of content. And finally, I'm gonna finish with a platform response, what we have found when doing this investigation and trying to see how different platforms behave in order to moderate the content. So we can see that if you write in TikTok things like words like Holocaust, you will find a guide about the Holocaust, what the Holocaust was. So they will provide you with a guide in order for you to know how it was. So you won't find content explicitly with this, just writing Holocaust, but you will find in any other ways because we did it. Because as mentioned, there is ways of avoid platforms moderation. So you can see this one. This is what UNESCO recommend platforms to do with every single word. Having this kind of guide for people who don't know what the Holocaust was or don't know much about the Holocaust, they can have a look at it. But what we found that it doesn't apply when you write Franco or when you write Mussolini. And another interesting thing that happens to us is with the Kalergi plan, this conspiracy theories plan. So when you write Kalergi plan in TikTok, you will see this phrase could be associated with hateful behavior. But if you write plan Kalergi, which is the Spanish one, no, in the Spanish a weak pronunciation in Spain, you will see that it's full of content. So you only have to write the words in a different way. So you will find all the content that you can see the plant allergy that is that well it's, you can search for it, but it's a conspiracy theories that say that the European Union wants to destroy the humanity, and it talks as well about anti-migration, and it has anti-migration messages as well. So here is an example on videos that we found very easily. And again, it happens if you go to Telegram and where you write Hitler and you want to get a memes from Hitler, you won't get a gift. But you have a lot from Mussolini. You can see there from Franco on the right. And that's all from my side. I think I did it on time. So thank you very much, and we'll wait for your questions. You are perfectly on time, Coral. Thank you very much, both Coral and Francesca, for this insightful and inspiring presentation. And now it's time to start the Q&A session. As a reminder for the attendees, please use the QR code to join Slido or type slido.com and hashtag disinfo. We have around 15 minutes for the questions, and at this moment, we are more than 90 people in the room. So that's fantastic. We have already some questions on Slido. Please vote for the ones you would like to be answered first. I have spotted one I would like to bring up first, and it comes from Pablo. Pablo asks, where do you draw the line between edgy irony and actual extremist propaganda? And what's the clearest sign a meme account has crossed from joking into recruiting? That's very interesting. I think this is a problem that fact checkers face almost every day when facing irony or satire as a type of disinformation, right, Coral? I don't know who would like to go
Now,
first.
yeah. Yes, actually we kept everything because yes, this is something that of course we realized because they use the humor, they use they kind of use humor to spread this content. So no, it was a kind of see the context of the publications in the it was more manually elimination. But it's a great question because I think we all have is the question when is something has humor or when is something that you are trying to love of the of this kind of content, no, of the fascist ideology. And this is something that we talk a lot with the experts that we interview. But again, this is something that I would like to mention because we have it in the text, and we mentioned in the text, in the investigation, that Andrew Angling, I know I'm pronouncing it well, is a American that used neo-Nazi who in the year 2013, he founded the website, the Daily Stormer, in so has a tributing the Der Stürmer, the Nazi tabloid Der Stürmer. So, and he mentions there in a guide that he published that when using racial content slurs, it should be across as half joking, like a racist joke that everyone loves. I'm just citing them, has like a racist joke that everyone loves because of it's true. So they know that they need to introduce kind of has it was humor in order to don't make the content too much extremist, so people can say, well, this is too much extremism. So that's the it's very tricky, and it's a great question. And this is something that we talk with the expert, that sometimes where is the limit, and when it's when you know that something is humor and when it's not, because they take advantage of this, and that's the key, I think.
I don't know if Francesca has anything to add or if we can go to the next one.
Actually, I agree with everything that Coral said, and I think that the point of this question is actually even the point of our investigation. So basically, the thing is that this irony, as we can say, this edgy irony, is basically became one of the strategies to actually spread fascist propaganda. So I think it evolves with social media, and of course, in the last year. So since it's very hard to identify if a content is just, let's say, just because it's not just irony, because it's spreading harmful content. So I think that's also the point. It's irony, but it still has some consequences. So I think that can answer your question.
Thank you so much. There is another question about AI. Actually, I wanted to mention something about how AI has been a game changer in this kind of campaigns. So what we have seen is that since Opens AI, Sora, and other video AI tools took off, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have been flooded with clips of historical figures in absurd situations. I remember one of Stalin stealing chips at McDonald's. And I wonder if you see that AI has been really a game changer here. And okay, you can ask this first, and I will go to the next one related as well later.
Okay, I can say it has been present, yeah, in all kind of content we have seen. I can say, for example, I mentioned the Franco Friday, so they have the facility of creating a video with a person who supposed is to be Franco and celebrating Franco Fridays. It makes the things easier for them to fabricate this of the or also the video of Mussolini that we have. I played at the beginning of the presentation as well. It wasn't because of the moment that we investigated this. Maybe Sora we haven't seen many videos of Sora, if I'm not mistaken, Francesca, but we have seen different kind of content with AI generated by artificial intelligence, especially videos. Also, we have seen the typical manipulated videos as the one that we have seen with Aitana and Quevedo singing Carol Sol. They are just real videos, but with a manipulated audio behind. So I don't think it has been like the most common thing that we have seen, but I would say it's gonna be because we can see, as you mentioned, a lot of videos that it doesn't take time for them to make it. So I think it's something that we will see more in the future.
And another one related to AI. Have you conducted or are you planning any research on large language models and AI-driven search tools to assess whether their outputs also amplify or reproduce historical revisionist narratives?
Actually, no, like we didn't focus of it because let's say that it is like an kind of another topic to investigate. So we basically focused on the social media platform. So we choose 6 platform. So as I said before, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, 6, YouTube, and I think that actually took us a lot of work. So as I said before, it was like 6 month investigation. So to analyze also about larger language model chatbot. I think it will take some other month. So I think this is like another kind of research and investigation. But yeah, we will think about, and thank you for the suggest actually.
Okay, some attendees are asking for practical information about the publication. I don't know if you'd like to refer them to your pages, websites, whatever. Any practical tips for them?
I'm not sure if I can share it in the chat, but we have it in Maldita. We have it in Spanish and in English, and in Facta has it in Italian and English, I think as well, right? So yeah, you can find them in 3 languages. But I'm not sure if I can share it. I'll be happy to share it through the chat.
Okay, if not, we will find a way to share your publications as well. Okay, there are a couple of questions related with the reasons behind the historical revisionism. To what extent can institutions' failure to implement the necessary policies and offer young people a viable future lead them to embrace revisionist views of history? Anyone would like to answer this? Do you have
I can. So talking with the experts, of course, we have the Digital Services Act for the platforms for illegal content, but as well talking with different experts, they mention different because no, I don't think there is one solution, but they were very mentioning the lack of, for example, people talking about history. So let's call it don't know, yes, experts, let's say, or historians being present in social media to spread how facts were. But there is another solution would be a greater understanding of the history of moderators, has mentioned it before, and the efforts of the platform, of course, to moderate the content and the different ways in which the content circulates. Some experts mention that it's like a cat and a mouse game sometimes with the hidden language that we mentioned and the coded language, because the platform regulators discover our problems and then they create another kind of mitigation, and bad actors or extremist actors find ways to circumvent these rules. So, but of course, it would be more regulations, as we can see with the allergy plan, which it was an easy way of having a lot on how the moderation was. And And yeah, for example, we found a video on TikTok showing bees being gassed at the street lamp using the hashtag extermination. And the video was there from 2000 and I remember 2023, so for more than 2 years in TikTok. So I think it is necessary a kind of regulation in order to avoid this kind of extremist content. Also, UNESCO proposed a kind of adding verification labels to redirect users to accurate and reliable content. We can see this with the Holocaust, but we can't see it anymore. So it could be maybe another way of doing it. And something I would like to mention as well is that on another hand, it's important that journalists and fact checkers, because being fact checking these narratives, because sometimes there are a lot of narratives saying Franco did this, Franco did the other, or Hitler or Mussolini, and it's important that people having this fact check information. So, but sometimes it's difficult, because it requires a lot of effort. It involves going to archives, talking to sources, reading many books. So, I mean, it's difficult not for fact checkers, which is our work to do it, but for citizens that find this kind of contents, and maybe it's difficult for them to fact check. So that's why it's important for journalists and fact checkers to be there as well, and try to fact check all this content that we have seen on social media.
If we have time, I would like to highlight this question more focused on the impact of these campaigns. How big is the phenomenon? I mean, how do you measure how successful these of strategies are? Can you say more about the authors as well?
Okay, so I'm trying to reply to this question and also together with the third one, because okay, so yeah, we selected the 500 content, but of course there are more. It's not that just we found all the content online and on social media. So even for example, now we can see that more content is still going on. Last week on TikTok, we found another fascist song that was enhancing the dictator Mussolini. So it's still going on. It's not just that something is stopped. And so about the impact, I think that it's kind of impossible to evaluate the impact. Let's say that, okay, I know I see some fascist meme online and then I became a fascist. Of course, it's not that. I think it's just a factor and an element that maybe sometimes take young people to become a little bit more edgy and extremist. So maybe we can say in the election, in every country, especially in Europe, we see that the government are more and more from extreme right. So in our analysis, we focused on just, let's say, fascist content. But if we think about if we amplify the investigation, we talk about in general extremist content, then of course the impact is very big, because we can see online, we can see that young people are increasingly vote for the extreme right. So I think that's already an answer, and I think that also this meme and this content spreading online maybe are just the factors that lead them to vote for the extreme right.
Thank you so much, Francesca, for this last answer, because unfortunately we don't have any more time and we have to wrap up the webinar. Thank you again, our speakers, for these exciting discussions and for addressing so many questions. As usual, we'd love to hear the attendees' opinion on the session, so please fill in a rating survey after the webinar ends. And before wrapping up, a quick reminder that this session has been recorded and will be available shortly on our YouTube channel, and that we will host 2 more webinars this January. So next Thursday, the 22nd. We will present the report mentioned earlier in a webinar aimed at professionals in the field in partnership with France Viginium and the European External Action Service. You can already submit a request to attend. And the following Thursday, the 29th, Luna Vemer from Quota Climat will be our guest speaker to talk about climate deception on air. We hope to keep seeing you around, and thank you again, our speakers. Thank you, Anna, our support in the background, and thanks to everyone who attended. Have a nice rest of the day. See you very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.